When it's time to move, tenants often worry about whether they're doing everything by the book. Under Ontario's Residential Tenancies Act, also known as the RTA, tenants have clear responsibilities, but landlords do too. Leaving properly can prevent disputes, unexpected fees, and even damage claims that follow you after you've handed back the keys. In this video, my job is to share the tips that you should know when you leave a property. My name is Weiting, Bollu. I am the CEO at Openroom.ca, where thousands of people search our court order engine for tenancy disputes so both landlords and tenants can make more informed decisions of who they rent to and who they rent from. Some of these court orders I read on the daily are about move-out disasters, so you're gonna wanna watch what to avoid. First, giving proper written notice. Spoiler alert, texting, "I'm out," does not count. For a month-to-month tenancy, notice must be 1. In writing. Typed counts, napkin notes don't. 2. Include your address and intended move-out date. 3. Be signed and dated on the day that you actually signed. 4. Be given at least 60 days before the end of the rental period. What does that mean? So let's take a step back. As an example, if your rent is due on the 1st and you give notice March 10th, your move-out date becomes May 31st. Okay, how does that work? When you give notice on March 10th, your next immediate first of the month is actually April 1st. The 60-day count begins on April 1st, and therefore the count of the 60 days from April 1st will lead you to May 31st. It's not dramatic, it's math, and it's the law. But if you're on a fixed term lease, like a 1-year lease, you can only give notice for the end of the term. Leaving early without permission doesn't terminate your responsibility, meaning you can't just throw the keys at your landlord and yell, "I declare freedom." Be careful if you want to do this, because the landlord can technically take you to the LTB for missed rent payment a former tenant owes. Ideally, you should use the N9, which is the tenant's notice to end the tenancy form that the LTB has. Give that to your landlord when you want to move out. Next, you're going to want to avoid illegal fees, also known as charges you can politely decline. Let's be clear, landlords cannot legally charge you for moving out, cleaning fees, painting fees, admin processing, or vibe fees. Anything that sounds made up on the spot, doesn't work. If you've done damage to the property though, beyond the wear and tear, that's a whole other story. But overall, the only deposit allowed under the RTA is the last month's rent and possibly a key deposit. That's it. No pet deposit, no emotional support deposit, no. Before handing back your keys, clean, take photos, and fix the minor wall holes. Sometimes your landlord and property manager might have move-out inspection lists that they go through. If they don't, I've got one for you that you can download, revise, and use for free. Check in the description below to download it. Next, make sure the lease is actually over. You are only no longer responsible when proper notice is given, you move out by the termination date, the keys are returned. If you leave early during a fixed term lease without an agreement or an assignment to somebody else, you may still owe the rent until the lease ends or when a new tenant moves in, whichever comes first. The landlord must make a reasonable effort to re-rent the unit, but sometimes, they can't just sigh dramatically and leave it empty to prove a point, but it gets dicey. That's why I said earlier to be careful, because on fixed term leases, the landlord can technically take you to the LTB for those vacant months. Get written confirmation that your notice was received. Keep the records, take the photos, and leave a forwarding address, because nothing says closure like getting your mail sent somewhere that is not your old rental unit. All right, it's time for our rental trio, the top 3 takeaways on this video that I want you to take away with. First, give proper notice in writing, identifying that the landlord should use the last month's rent for the month you will be vacating. Keep a copy or take a photo of the notice that you have delivered. 2, know what the landlord can charge you for and what they cannot. No hidden fees or charges. Number 3, request a vacant inspection with the landlord and confirm everything in writing so you have proof. Walk through the unit with them. Make sure that you get the okay to leave. All right, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video or just like the free resources that I'm giving you, all is good. But can you give me a thumbs up and drop me a comment? Remember to subscribe for more freebies and more knowledge from my brain to yours. I mean, who doesn't love free things? I'll see you next week.